Houston welcomes the Towson Tigers to town. Towson has been one of the more consistent mid-major programs in the country, really over the past half decade. They have four straight consecutive 20 or more win seasons. They went 16-2 in CAA play last season. However, they usually flame out in the conference tournament. They haven't made the big dance since 1991. Still, typically a bigger physical mid-major that can't really be overlooked unless you're Houston. I think Houston, when you just factor in the program prestige, what they've done over under Kelvin Sampson, you just sort of expect to win these games. You expect to be tougher, more physical, bigger, more athletic, all of that, and win the Houston way and sort of cut off the water with the offense. However, I think it's still plenty of storylines to look at here. I think there's still some ways that Houston fans can glean something from their team, just because again, Towson is it's a good program. It's not like one of these sub 300 teams who they're just going to beat up on and win by 50 and just kind of flex their muscles. So should be a really fascinating one. But Dion, I'll turn it to you first. Houston won their first game against Lehigh by, I think it was 22, 24 point margin of victory. Maybe a little quieter than you would expect. They didn't shoot the ball super well, but what are you looking for out of this team in their second game of the season?
I don't know. Houston secret scrimmages didn't go well either, to be honest. And we have no idea who played. It's a secret. So like maybe just like nobody really played, but like I think there is some like fair caution when it comes to Houston. I'm not a huge Milo Suzon guy. Never really have been, respectfully. I like Chris Knack. Well, you're grinning ear to ear.
I'm just like, come on, man. I don't think it's fair to question Houston.
Eh,
What they've been the past, like they're going on a decade of excellence at this point. Kelvin Sampson just won his 800th game, massive milestone.
700 of those were at Indiana or Oklahoma.
come on, he's done a lot of these at Houston. He's built them into like one of the consistently best programs in the country. To me, I mean to cut you off. You can go back to Milos Uzan. I've been a Uzan guy, so I will continue to pound the drum for Uzan and say he's still one of the most underrated guards in the country, despite playing in the national championship game last year.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think Uzan's okay. Like, I ain't got like nothing super against him, but like, I mean, at Oklahoma, he 1 year he averaged 20, shot 29% from three.
Nah.
Last year at Houston, he was obviously up to 43% through one game, 1 of 5. We don't know what it looked like in the secret scrimmage. Like, little up and down. Kids a little up and down. Kids a little up and down. I mean, that respectfully, this is a 6'4" point guard
Mm-hmm.
that went through the draft process and came back.
See, you love doing this, Dion. You love reminding it, because okay, this one actually might be legit. He probably, he,
Oh, by
I,
the way, anyone that wants to tell me Todd Pettiford, my stance on him wasn't legit, I would love to talk about that first game. I would love to. I would love to.
you've been keeping receipts on all these guys who
Oh,
you've.
and Boogie Flan, by the way, 3-9. Oh my God. Like, tried to tell everybody. Like, listen,
There's a reason why these guys withdrew.
they don't want to be here. Like, they made that known. There is a difference in a Yaxel Lenderer, in my opinion, who went through the draft process and said, my stock isn't high enough. I'm coming back. I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And like Todd would have taken anything. Boog would have taken anything. Milos would have taken anything and didn't get that. That's the difference to me. Like there's a massive difference between guys that like went through the draft process that that's not high enough. I'm going to go back. I can get behind that. Do I think it normally works out in their favor? Absolutely not. I think the history behind it normally shows like if you when you come back, your stock normally falls.
Yeah,
I
you're right
mean,
about that.
I definitely think that's going to happen this year because there's just 30 freshmen that are really good.
It
So,
does, yeah, but it does feel like there's upward of like literally 20 to 25 freshmen who dropped 20 in their debut.
I mean, and Elijah Arenas isn't playing. That's a first round pick. Like, that's a first round pick who's just not playing. There's
I,
so many freshmen that are so good in this class. Like, if you couldn't make it last year, what am I supposed to, why should I believe that, like, you're going to do even better this year? It, I, I'm not saying they're bad college players. People always say
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're downplaying them as college basketball. I'm not. I'm really not. But I am saying like there are flaws in their game that were found.
Hmm.
And if the NBA found them, When Milos went back to Houston, who do you think the first people that these coaches called? Hey, why didn't you take Milos? Here's what I saw. Now there's a scouting report on him. That doesn't mean he's not a great college basketball player. It really isn't. But there was eyeballs on him in a manner, he was under a microscope in a manner he's never been before. And they told him no. And that information was relayed. It's not, I promise you, everyone in the Big 12. You think Kevin Young didn't hit his like NBA homies like, yo, why didn't you want Milos?
It's not a bad point. It's not a bad point. I just I love Milos and I just want him to get the credit he deserves. I know he had a quiet start to the year, just 12 points, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 for 5 from 3, as you already mentioned. Kind of a brutal 5 for 17 day for the field overall, only attempted 2 free throws. However, I still look at how good the freshmen were. I thought Chris Nack popped right away. I mean, had a double double in his debut, and he was someone who it seemed like there had been almost no buzz on for most of the offseason. And I just thought like immediately he was active around the rim. He was popping out to the mid post, knocking down mid rangers. I believe he knocked down. Oh, he hit 2 threes. I was gonna short him one on that. Yeah, like I've always thought his jumper is really pretty, especially for someone of his size. I mean, like he's a legit 6'10", 6'11", 240. He's already well built, got that college ready frame to where he's someone who's just like scratching the surface of his potential. Thought Kingston Fleming's made some plays as well. He's someone who I'm looking to see how does his role expand. But in a game like this, as we're talking about the freshman, I would like to see Isaiah Harwell maybe join the party. He played 19 minutes, only attempted 2 shots all game. I think he's still able to impact the game defensively. He finished with 4 steals, and I think that's probably going to be his calling card for most of the year. What's going to get him on the floor is how aggressive of a defender he is with the great physical tools. But I would like to see him, find some opportunities to be a little more aggressive on offense just because I was not like panicked really watching this Houston game. I mean, they jumped out, I think, to a 10-0 lead. We're up 20-9 early in the first half. And it just wasn't the final margin that I've gotten used to with Houston teams over mid majors, which I guess maybe gives a little credence to what you're saying about like you can have some reservations about this Houston team, but it did have me thinking that maybe losing LJ Cryer was a slightly bigger loss than I expected. I mean, you look at what Houston was the third best 3 point shooting team by percentage in the country last year. LJ Cryer was a big part of that. I mean, he had 123 makes on the year, and to lose him and not really have a clear cut replacement other than Emmanuel Sharp just taking on a higher usage. Yeah, there's a little bit of trepidation you could argue there, but that to me is why I'm like, got to see Isaiah Harwell continue to make strides on that end. Got to see Kingston Flemings become a little more aggressive too, even though I thought they were fine in their debut, kind of did what was asked of them.
I mean, I think this Houston team's relying on freshmen more than they ever have.
Hmm.
I think that plays a role in it. Like I'm not trying to deny Houston's greatness over the last decade. It's phenomenal. They just lost the national championship. Them Gator boys ain't staying hot either, by the way. Only like Gator boys ain't staying hot by any means, but they got Houston. I don't know. I have nothing against Houston. I think they're phenomenal. I've had them in my Final Four. I will continue to do so.
Just
But
like
like
blind pick them to the second weekend every year. Yeah.
every year. But like if we're gonna nitpick Purdue, which everybody's doing, and
Hmm.
like I'm on board with it, by the way, despite 3 units, I'm on board. Like if you play bad, you play bad. That's our job to do. Houston also played bad.
Yeah, I'm still hesitant to say they played bad. They just didn't.
If those secret scrimmages were on TV, I think we're having a different conversation.
I know, but one of them, Kelvin Sampson said he like was playing the walk-ons in the one where they lost by double digits. They were playing
We don't
walk.
know that. We don't know that. We don't know.
Kelvin seems like a man of integrity. Although I will give
I,
you this, Dion. They forced Lehigh into 15 turnovers. Feels a little bit low for what Houston like their usual standard, and they turned the ball over 13 times. I guess the more that I break down this game and sort of look at the numbers behind it,
Kelvin
like
Sampson, man of integrity.
the stuff that he did that was illegal recruiting is like he made a couple extra phone calls.
Kelvin Sampson, man of integrity.
He's
5 year
there.
show ban. I'm just a facts guy. Just a facts guy. Just a facts guy.
Are there any of these freshmen in particular that you are particularly high on or looking forward to seeing what they might do in game two?
I love Sinak. Love Sinak.
Sinak is so fun.
Love Sinak.
I love that Houston just has like an NBA dude to go next to Tugler. Tugler looks like he expanded his offense a little bit. Like they were using him to play out of dribble handoffs. He made some really smart passes out of the post. Because
I think they should stop using him like that. Let's just go back to him just playing defense and dunking the ball, I think.
he did have 5 turnovers. Man, you know what, Dion? I'll give you credit. When you're the preseason number 2 team, you got to embrace the criticism. You got to be get used to being under the microscope. Well, let's talk a little bit about this matchup against Towson and make some predictions. So, kind of hit on this at the top. They do have pretty good size. Tyler Tejada, he's their star, averaged nearly 17 points a game last year and stuck around. Didn't go to the portal. What's notable about him is he is like a legit 6'9", 230, sort of a higher wing, can play the 3 or the 4. They've using him more on post ups this year. He hasn't always been the most efficient from 2 point range, but can score at all 3 levels, can facilitate, make plays for his teammates. They have Dylan Williamson at the point, who's a 14 point per game scorer last year. Then across the board, I think they have guys who in some ways sort of look like the Houston Wings and Bigs, just the mid-major version. When you look at the ways that they tend to crash the glass, like that's always a tenet of their team. They always have some bruisers in the front court as well. I think there's a world where maybe they can keep it close in the first half before Houston hits the gas and pulls away in the second. Like we could be staring at a game where, again, I'm not even going to say it's likely because I still really believe in this Houston team. I'm trying to make the case that like I wouldn't overreact too much just from not quite as dominant of a performance as we're used to. But there is a world where Towson hangs in there and it's like 35-30 at halftime and the alarm bells start sounding before Houston outscores them by like 25 in the second or something.
Yeah.
Just because I think Towson can muddy it up.
If that happens, I don't know that everyone's gonna love me on this recap. Gonna be honest. I don't personally think that's what's gonna happen, but if it does, I don't think Houston fans are gonna love me on this recap.
I will still go to bat for you, Houston, even if Towson keeps it close.
Well, you're
Just
not really going to bat for them. See, this so you and Carter are special at this, by the way. Twinskies. You guys are special at this. You just basically said that they can't run away from a game against Towson, but like, don't worry, I'll go to bat for them. That's not going to bat for them.
Oh man, yeah, I am pretty good at fence riding, saying something negative and then turning around and acting like I've been nice the whole time. That is a gifting of mine.
You said something super negative. I pointed out how negative it was, and then you spun it into a positive for yourself.
That's why we work well together, Dion. That's why we get good compliments on our chemistry as well. But I'm telling you, man, just all you got to do is search Tyler Tejada on YouTube. This dude is like essentially operates as a big guard. Like he cooks dudes in ISO situations. He can cook you in the mid range. Just needs to be. I would say I want to see him be a little more efficient at the basket, but knockdown shooter, confident shooter, and I think he's going to walk into the Fertitta Center thinking he's going to win. And that to me is why I envision Towson perhaps keeping it close for a little bit. But ultimately, I just think like, yeah, it's cute that Towson can crash the offensive glass and be physical and everything. But this is a buzzsaw you're running into that like was born, molded, forged in toughness and physicality, and is ultimately going to enforce its will. So where are you at in terms of a score prediction here? I think Kim Pom has the Cougs projected to win by 22.
I'll explain too. I got
Oh,
Houston by 30.
all right. So now we're spinning into a positive too, where we can throw on some skepticism.
Well, I mean, I'm not skeptical of them against Towson,
Okay, fair,
but
fair.
like when we play when we play the big dogs, like I think you're gonna have to come with a little bit more than he came with. Like Milos Uzan can't go 5-17 against BYU.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, I'll say Houston. I think it'll be another like lower scoring game where I'll say they hit 77 and hold Towson to 50. I'll say 52. They get a nice little 25-point win. They cover, but but it's not going to be like Houston just steamrolling a mid-major by 40. But we will be back breaking it all down. I will probably be trying to spin any negatives into positives. Dion will be hitting me with a reality check. That's why you tune into Sleepers.